Yep, Brian, good evening to you as well. Hope you're okay. G4RYU. Anybody else?
G3VPT. Good evening, all.
Hello, Paul. Excellent. G3VPT on the list. Anybody else?
M0SYW.
Hello, Sully. Excellent job. Good to have you there. SYW on the list. Anybody else? Okay, I'll put out one more call and then we'll try and get underway at pretty much the time. It's just 8 o'clock now. So this is the GB2CW slow Morse transmissions, part of a 18-week course of slow Morse, well, fastish Morse, but learning Morse at 25 words a minute. I am partway through making up MP3 files of these lessons, so they will be available somewhere on the club website at some stage. But for the time being, we're now on to week 12, and we'll be doing examples of various shorthand phrases that might appear in a CW QSO. So this is all about training people to recognize shortcuts, abbreviations, things that might be impenetrable if you decoded a Morse QSO and thought, well, what on earth is all this about? Well, it's easy when you know, but you've got to know them first. So this is what this will be about. Anyway, one more call, then we'll get underway with the first session. G3YLA calling CQ GB2CW.
George 8, Oscar Oscar.
Hello, Alan. Welcome to you, G800. All good. One last call. Okay, well, it looks like that's our set for this week, so it's pretty much the same as last week, except we got Brian back and Chris isn't in at the moment, but you never know, he may join in, and others may do as we go through. Just to say, for those of you who might want to be using the repeater, I know these are different times to what we normally have, but if anybody needs to use the repeater for urgent traffic or wishes to join in at any point partway through, then please call in. There'll be plenty of spaces. And just call in and we'll stand by while you use the repeater. So I think the first thing we'll do then is to kick off with our beginner piece, which is a list of abbreviations in the same style as we've done before. Some of them will be total words, you know, a short word that you might hear in a CW QSO. Some of them are just letters, and they might be an abbreviation for something else. And some of them are totally unpenetrable unless you know what they are. So we'll tell you what they are as well, so you'll learn that bit too. So this is, I'll just take one last pause while I take my fleece off because it's getting warm in here. Stand by.
2-0 Victor Tango Whiskey.
Excellent. Right, now let's 2E0 Victor Tango Whiskey. I should know that call. Could you just repeat your name for me, please?
Actually, I don't know if you would be, actually. My name is Ian. I'm located in northern Essex, but we've got a rather good lift on tonight, so I just thought I'd try the KS repeater, and lo and behold, I managed to hit it quite well. Could you give me a signal report, please?
Yeah, you're a very good signal in, Ian. This is a Norfolk Broads repeater, GB3NB. So we're up in Norfolk, very, very close to Norwich, just a mile or two south of Norwich is where the repeater is. So good signal getting in.
Well, thank you very much, everyone, and I'll leave you to your net. So 73s, and enjoy the evening. Thank you very much. This is 2E0 Victor Tango Whiskey, going clear.
Yeah, okay, Ian. Well, if you want to learn some CW, I know this is all a bit fast at 25 words a minute, but the idea uniquely is to teach the characters at a high speed, and then you don't have to learn many times as you increase the speed in CW. So learning what the characters sound like, almost as if it were a piece of music. So anyway, let's start off with this bit. So the format, as you may remember from the previous week, is I send each abbreviation that we're going to use 5 times. The first 4 have extra spaces between the characters. and the last one is at correct line speed for 25 words a minute. So the first one is just 2 letters. Well, it's the same letter repeated, so let's see how we do with this. And we'll do the full set, and then we'll see how you got on. So G3YLA, handing over to GB2CW for a set of abbreviations at 25 words a minute. Here we go. GB2CW, handing back to G3YLA. Well, we'll do this again, but I'll just put it round the group and leave a pause in case anybody wishes to join in. The thing about this is that the things, you may get some of the letters first go and you think, oh, that's all right, yeah, and keep listening and just get confirmation. And don't worry if you miss one. Don't worry if you can't get it. You're not fluent yet, and it'll take a while to get these things cemented in. So this is all about giving you enough opportunities to hear a familiar phrase, and we'll do it in a moment. So I'll just put it round the group to see how you all are this week, and hopefully you're all keeping well. And we'll take a pause before we put this through the second time. M0TEO, G3YLA.
Mike 0TEO, I'm just completely lost, Jim. I think my best thing is to listen in and sit in the background. I have a problem that perhaps you can solve, but now's probably not the time to go into it, but I'll mention it, which is that when I've been practicing in the week, individual letters I seem to get lost on, whereas if I listen to groups, it seems to make much more sense to me. But no, I'm completely thrown tonight. Sorry.
Well, I wouldn't worry about it, Thomas, because just listening to it and hearing it, I'll tell you what they are, and you can see what it feels like after we've gone through it a second time, and we'll get some comments back from the others. Yeah, well, I'm really glad you're doing some practice. So don't worry, we're not going to leave anybody by the wayside. This will be a case of finding different practice methods for different folk as required. Anyway, over to you, Brian, G4RYU. Any comments at this stage before we send it through again?
Break.
Yeah, go ahead, the breaker.
Good afternoon. Look at me. Good evening. This is Adam, 2E0CUB, over near Huntingdon, just trying some new equipment, and just wondered how I was getting into the repeater. Should be getting in okay, to say the least. From 2E0CUB.
Yeah, okay, Adam. 2E0 Charlie Uniform Bravo, I think that was. Yeah, you're doing fine. You're a very strong signal, fully quieting. So, as you say, conditions are well up tonight. This is Jim, G3YLA. We're near Norwich.
Yeah, all received. Well, I bought a huge, big linear a few years ago, and to be honest, I've never really blown the dust off of it. So, a friend of mine, he's a full licence holder. He's come round. We're running about 270 watts at the minute. Plenty more to go. So, it seems to be working okay. I just wanted to monitor temps and everything. So far, it's dropped to 275, 27 degrees, SWR 1.1. So far it's looking good. We're only running into a J-pole. That's the only thing that will take this type of power. It's not very high at all. It's only just above the gutter, and it will take 1200 watts all in all. So we just get
For 2E0?
this season with the beams and everything. So thanks for letting me in. I wonder, I won't hog it. I just wondered if any of you could get me on the input and just give me an idea if you could hear me. If you would, of course. If not, there's no bother. This is CUB. Over.
Yeah, okay, this is G3YLA. Well, I'm not sure about the power levels for that call. I'll have to read up on that, but the linear is obviously doing very, very well. I'm in the middle of a Morse class here, so I'll press on with that, and if you want to pick it up afterwards, happy to do it. But you'll do a wonderful trade on the simplex channels with that signal. So I'm sure you'll have no difficulty, Adam. Anyway, I'll put it back to Brian, who was next on the list. G4RYU, G3YLA.
Yeah, the G4RYU. Yeah, I got a lot of it. Do you want any of it back yet?
No, I'm just establishing everybody's copying and the tones are right and so on. So that's good. Well done, Brian. Thought you might. Paul, how about you?
Well, some of them I can't understand if I've got it correctly, but I did. I lost you completely on number 10. I've got the first three letters, the first three characters, and after that I just fell to pieces. But we'll have to see what comes up at the end, Jim.
Okay, yeah. Well, that sounds very promising, Paul. Very impressed. And how about you, Sonny? Any problems copying?
A poor start, Jim, but I'm sure I'll get it first time, second time.
Yeah, sure you will. Okay, that's good. And Alan, you okay?
Yeah, but I made a silly mistake, Jim. I put an H on number 6, and I put it down as honey for the first one, but changed it when you sent it the second time round. Back to you.
yeah, I thought that might ring a bell. Okay, well, let's put it through again, and you can confirm what you got before and see if any of the letters bump off the page for you. And Thomas, just see what you can do. Getting the odd letter, recognising it in there. You never know. As we go through the hour, like we did last week, we found that you were able to get a few later on. So it's getting tuned into it, possibly. Anyway, let's put this through once again. So this is a set of abbreviations, each one repeated 5 times. 4 times with extra spaces in between the characters, and the 5th time is at proper 25 words a minute speed. So let's do this again. G3YLA over to GB2CW. GB2CW handing back to G3YLA. Okay, I'll just take a break and let the repeater dekey, and then we'll give you a chance to correct a few missing elements perhaps, or have a guess, and then we'll go through the list. So this is G3YLA taking a standby.
Hi Jim, bit late on parade, but I thought I would lend an ear tonight. G3 X-Ray Lima Lima, John.
Hello John, nice to haven't heard you for ages. Oh well, that's really good to have you in there. That's excellent. Haven't spoken to you for goodness knows how long. So hope you're well over there, and Simon as well. So I'll call you in the various loops, but good to know you're there. Right, okay. Well, we'll just go round the group now, and I assume Thomas is just trickle charging, hearing a few letters, getting used to what they sound like. Sometimes, Thomas, with things like this, where you feel it's difficult, and we will have a chat afterwards, by the way. Sometimes when it gets a bit sort of impenetrable, even just the exercise of learning to recognise where a space between a letter or a space between a word is actually a useful thing to be doing. So it's not a total bust, even if you're not getting the letters. So it's not completely wasted. M0TEO, G3YLA. Yeah, okay, so Thomas is sitting out, fair enough. And Brian, how about you?
Yeah, okay, yes, I didn't do so. The second group I got a bit muddled, but otherwise all right.
All right, well, in that case, we'll kick off then and say, could you give us the first one, Brian?
Well, it looked like double T to me.
And have you come across that one before?
No, I haven't. No, I wasn't sure what that one was, but I got double T.
Okay, well, it's a fairly commonly used abbreviation, certainly by ex-marine ops. They will use it quite often, and it's the abbreviation for the word that. So it's the first and last letter of the word that, T-H-A-T. So TT just means that. So if you hear that one, that's what it is. Right, now the second one, that falls upon your shoulders, Paul. I don't know, well, I expect you got it, but I haven't got an idea what it is yet. So G3VPT, G3YLA.
Yeah, I haven't got a clue what it was. The first time round, I put MVVE, and then the second time round, I was getting a little bit confused. I put MBBE.
Yeah, well, the second time of asking was the correct one, and unless you're on the key, you wouldn't necessarily know that one either. And it's not very commonly used, but it is used now and again by ship's ops quite often. It's the abbreviation for the word maybe, MBBE, maybe. Sort of, MBBE is often used as an abbreviation for the word maybe. Oh, that's that one. Then we go on to Sunny. Oh, that's a pity. I was going to give you one a bit further down, but anyway, I'm sure you'll have got that. So what about this third one then? Did that mean anything?
Your favourite mode, Jim, QRP.
Hey, super job. So the third one was QRP, meaning low power or 5 watts. Transmit power. So that's all excellent. And Alan, falls upon you to do the one.
TU, Jim.
Yep, thank you. TU is the abbreviation for thank you. And then John, if you want to have a bash at the one that came after TU, I don't know if you joined at that stage, but if you did, what came after that?
Was see you later.
Yep, indeed it was. CUL, see you later. All right, super job. Right, well, just take a pause on the repeater, see if anybody wants to join in the group. There's 1 or 2 names who aren't here this week, so I'll just take a pause and then we'll get on. I will just read the complete set out, incidentally, after I've taken a pause. This is G3YLA with the GB2CW slow morse.
G8VPE lurking.
Welcome, lurker. Oh, this is brilliant. Well, I take it you're lurking in a fairly quiescent mode, or are you lurking in a semi-active mode, John?
I'm trying to be active. Well, let's just go down
I wrote EE, then I wrote MB and nothing else, QR dash, I got the TU, but I got QUL, oh dear, the CQ has got itself twisted somewhere, Jim. So that's my effort so far, G8VPE.
Good. Well, that's actually pretty good, and I can see exactly why that happened. Because CQ, you associate those sounds together, and you just happen to settle on the wrong one. You knew it belonged to that pairing, and you just chose the Q instead of the C. So that's interesting. All right. Well, that's brilliant. Really nice to have you in. So I'll just read out for those who perhaps didn't hear the individual replies. It was TT, the shorthand for that. MBBE, Mike Bravo Bravo Echo for maybe. Then we had QRP for low power. 5 watts is the international power limit for QRP. TU for thank you. CUL for see you later. Then we had sunny, a weather term. And then we had LW for long wire. Oh, I didn't go through the full list. Anyway, I'll do that just so we can press on, because we've had a few interruptions. So I want to try and get 4 sets in this week. Vert was the next one, VERT for vertical. So somebody might send ant vert, or they could say ant ANT for antenna, long wire LW. Then staying up in the air with the aerials, mast was the next one, MAST. And then the final one was quad. So there was your Q. So that was quad. So I'm now going to move amongst you and collect the total number you got correct. So first of all, Thomas will leave purring on the side and go to Brian, G4RYU.
Yeah, not too bad, Jim. I actually got all the sets right. Not every single one of them, but ones I got wrong I eventually managed to correct towards the end of the sequence, so they're all ticked.
That's brilliant, excellent, very pleased to hear that. And Paul, how about you?
Yeah, 2 of them I managed to complete the second time round, but with that, 10 out of 10.
God, team's really storming it this week. Sonny?
5 fast, Jim.
Right, okay, well that's good. So 10 altogether, but 5 fast. Yep, very, very good. Alan?
10 out of 10, Jim. But I don't know, I've got a problem this evening where I'm putting H's in for S's. I don't know why, but very silly mistakes. Back to you.
Yeah, sometimes that's just hearing the word and knowing that that word is most likely something else, which would determine it as being an H rather than an S. But yeah, don't worry about that. That's just using it that'll bring that right. John, how many did you get?
Yeah, all correct. Thank you, Jim.
Lovely work. And John VP, any in the list?
1 out of 10. I got the TU. That wasn't the problem.
No, well, that's good. That's good. Small wins, and we all get there in the end, don't we? Okay, so this next set, okay, there's one tricky one, which is the second group. So the second group, I'll give you a clue now. It contains 3 figures, or 2 figures and a punctuation between them, and then 3 letters. So that maybe is giving the game away to some of you. But see what you do, and then we'll do it a second time, and it'll hopefully make sense to you. So this is G3YLA, handing over to GB2CW for a further set of abbreviations, exactly the same style. The first time through with an extra gap between the letters, that's the first 4 repeats of it, and on the 5th repeat, it's at proper 25 word a minute CW line speed. So here we go, won't take long. Some of these are quite short, but the second one is tricky. You'll have to focus, and don't worry if you don't get it all the first time through. I'll do it a second time later. So here we go. GB2CW, handing back to G3YLA. Some of those will have been quite familiar to you, I'm sure. I'll just take a pause for a moment, then I'll just see if anybody got any of those the first time round. So G3YLA, just taking a standby on the repeater. Right, okay. Right, let's just say some of these you may have got first time round. So what I'm going to do is go through the group and see if there's anything you want to offer me from the first time round. So I'm going to start at the other end of the loop because I'm pretty sure John will have got one. So John, GB3PE first, G3YLA.
G8VPE. I think I've got 4 out of that set of 10.
Excellent. Do you want to give me the last one?
Wait for it. I only got it when you speeded it up and took the spaces out. Test.
Yeah, I thought that was the one you were going to get. Okay, so we've got test ticked off. John, G3XLL, do you want to give me one of the others?
Yes, which one would you like? 3.5 megahertz?
Oh, very good. Pick the tricky one. Yeah, perfect. Good. 3.5 megahertz, which was the second one. Alan, do you want to give me one of the others?
Give me the first one, Jim. I'd put ABT, but I'm not sure if that was right.
Yeah, it was indeed. That was about, the abbreviation for the word about. It tends to be used in the context of, let's say, people telling you about their rig and they're saying running about 50 watts, say. They'll do ABT and then the power. Or they might say antenna about 10 meters up or something like that. So ABT, the abbreviation for about. Good. Sonny, any of the others left that you can give me? Just one of them?
Yeah, number 9 VHF, Jim.
Yeah, the penultimate one was VHF. Very good. Paul, any that haven't been mentioned? We're running out.
Yeah, number 9 I missed out. I got the V, and I cocked up completely on number 2. I got the 3, I got the 0.5, and I got a V after that, but I'm not sure about that. Otherwise, I think I'm okay.
Yeah, okay, all right. Well, I'll just see if Brian wants to give me one of the others. That's good work getting as well as that with the 3.5. It may have been obvious what the next bit was that followed it. We'll see. Brian, do you want to give me one of the remaining ones that hasn't been mentioned?
Yeah, okay. I got 3 dash instead of 3 point. Yeah, okay, nice.
Yep, nice signal, nice weather, nice NICE. Yep, perfect. Well, it sounds like everybody's really getting on well with this. So you've got a fair old clue as to what this is all about now. So let's just run it through one more time and see if you can fill in any gaps, and then we'll see how many you got. G3YLA, handing over to GB2CW for abbreviations. Here we go. so hopefully that all made sense. I'll just let you fill in any gaps, and then we'll go through and I'll get a score from you like we did last time, and we'll press on with list number 3. This is G3YLA with the GB2CW slow morse, just taking a pause. Right, okay, so I'll tell you what they were and then we'll get numbers from you. The first one was ABT for about. The second one was 3.5 MHZ, 3.5 megahertz, or 80 meters in other words. Then third one we had NICE, N-I-C-E. Fourth one was the TO2. Then the fifth one was AMP, A-M-P. Sixth was B-U-T, the word but. 7 was is, I-S, is. Rig, is, etc. Then we had similar, SIGs, S-I-G-S, SIGs. Ninth was VHF, VHF, and 10th was test. So you hear people calling CQ test in contests, so you'll hear test as John VPE picked out. So that's a common one. Anyway, so let's get a score out of 10. Brian, G4RYU from G3YLA.
Yeah, okay. Apart from the second one again, I was a bit all at sea with that one, but the rest were okay.
Yeah, that's really good. Well done, Brian. Well, that is by far and away the most tricky one, and that's just a case of cementing in some of those punctuations and hearing them often enough to know what they are, and also some of the less often used letters. The H coming in amongst some figures like that could easily have sounded a bit like a 5 if you weren't careful about how many dots there were. Anyway, good stuff. And Paul, G3VPT, how many for you?
Well, even after the second go, I still failed on number 2 and number 9. So I got 8 out of 10.
Very commendable, excellent. And Sonny?
7 fast, Jim.
Yeah, okie dokie. And Alan?
8 fast, Jim. I'm having a problem with SSNHs tonight. Don't know why. I'm just not hearing them properly.
Yeah, it happens sometimes. I mean, one of the things with those is if they're familiar words and phrases. I think if you listen to a string of 5s, S's, H's, I's, and all that malarkey, you will find that quite difficult until it's really cemented in. But where it belongs in a word that's a fairly standard common word, once you see the rest of the word, it's often a clue as to whether it was a 5 or an S or an H that you should have been copying. So that's the only advice I can give there, but it will come. John, G3XLL.
Yeah, hi Jim, all received here, thank you very much.
Loving your work, good stuff. And John, G8VPE, 4, hey?
G8VPE? No, 5, first time round. I wasn't sure about AMP, but I actually got it right. Strangely enough, so that was 5 first time round, and no extra additions for the second run through. I'm afraid it just didn't gel. The first one, I still thought it was NBT and not ABT, so I messed up there, and instead of but, I put BST, so a misread on the S every time. Anyway, there we go. At least I know a test when I hear it. G8VPE.
Yeah. Well, I would have been very disappointed if you hadn't got that one. Well, this is good. Okay. Well, I'm now going to load up the third one, and we'll do that. Is this another set of 10? I think it may be. All right. Well, let's just... it's kind of an exercise in seeing how well you've been practicing your alphabet and how well you know it. And you'll know from the results of this where you've got to go away and do practice. So you have to go away and practice your letters, and you have to then practice some of these words again. And if you want to, one of the key things I think in this is to practice sending those words, sending them at a reasonable speed, trying to get your key going or a paddle or whatever, and just practice sending the words a few times. and use a computer sort of reader program to see if you're getting it correct. That's often quite a good way of keeping on the straight and narrow path, because I know we don't normally recommend people send before they can receive completely, but for practice purposes, you might find that's a useful way of cementing it in, because once you've sent it a few times, it's very hard not to read it, if you see what I mean. Anyway, we're going to do another set. So this is the third set. So G3YLA handing over to GB2CW for some more small words or abbreviations, and see what we do. First one may be a bit tricky, but it's let's give it a go. Give it a go. G3YLA handing over to GB2CW. Here we go. Okay, GB2CW, handing back to G3YLA. All right, well, we'll give you a chance to scratch your heads and fill in any gaps, and I'll just take a pause on the repeater.
Scratch your head is right.
Wants to call through. This is G3YLA with the GB2CW slow Morse.
I need to practice more, and I know that.
Right, okay. Well, in order to keep up to the times we've got here, it's nearly 1:45, so I want to get one more set in after this. So I'll go straight in at resending it. And it's the same thing coming through again. So if you're uncertain of some letters and whatever, now's the chance to fill them in. And if you didn't get it, well, you just have to accept that's one you didn't get. But this is all fairly familiar stuff. If you have a QSO or listen on the band, you'll hear some of these things. So let's go. G3YLA handing over to GB2CW. Okay, so that was it for the second time through. I'll just take a pause, then we'll go through them. Okay, I'm going to read these ones out because I want to press on and make sure we get the fourth list in. So the first item was a bit of a tricky one. It was FOF2. It's the critical frequency for the F2 layer. So when they pulse a radio signal vertically upwards, the frequency at which it penetrates through and disappears, that's the maximum that it will send back straight down to ground for a vertical signal. So it's the critical frequency, and it's a measure of how good the bands are, and it's the sort of value. The figure is the value that you see plotted on those PropQuest graphs. So if you go on to propquest.co.uk, you'll see the value of the graph for the FOF2 for how it changes during the day, and that gives you a really good idea as to how the bands are. And you might hear people talking about the FOF2 being low or being high or whatever. Anyway, so that's what that relates to. The second one was flare, F-L-A-R-E, flare. The third one was one which you should all be members of, RSGB, the Radio Society of Great Britain, and they run the QSL Bureau, so you might hear it used in that context as well. Speaking of bureaus, people will quite often say QSL via Bureau rather than a direct card, so VIA was that next one. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 4, via VIA. Usually it would be followed by the word Bureau, B-U-R-O, which is the shorthand for Bureau. Then we had antennas. So we had GP, and very important at the moment, GPs, but this is the other variety. This is ground plane, so it's a ground plane antenna. So if somebody is using a quarter wave vertical with a couple of radials on it or whatever, that will be a ground plane. So ANT GP is what that means. Or it could be YAGI, which was the next one, was YAGI. So that's the multi-element beam. Very often people will either say ANT YAGI, or they'll tell you how many elements. So they might say ANT 3 LE YAGI, and we had, I think, 2 or 3 LE last week, if I remember. Anyway, so that was what that was, YAGI, Y-A-G-I. What do we have next? Time, the word time, T-I-M-E. So sometimes people will say, nice to work you for the first time, T-I-M-E. Then we had meet, nice to meet you, M-E-E-T, meet. Then we had possibly a trickier one because it had a punctuation in the middle of it, weekend, W/E, which is weekend. So sometimes people spell the whole word on a CW QSO, sometimes W/E is a pretty good substitute for it. And the final item, number 10, was the word first, and you'll hear that used at the beginning of a QSO when people say, nice to work you for the first time, and things like that. So, that was the list of 10, so we'll go around and find out how many got. Paul, G3VPT from G3YLA.
Only 7, Jim.
Oh, well, tricky ones in there, Paul, so that's all right. Brian, sorry, I put you in the wrong order. Brian, G4RYU.
Yeah, okay, I got the first one wrong. I was getting FOFW, and for the penultimate one, the last but one, I was getting WXE. I was missing out the dot in the middle. Otherwise, everything okay.
Yeah, okay. Oh, that's pretty good as well. Excellent. There was an oblique stroke, so it's W/E, weekend. Good. Where have we got to now? I've got myself out of order here. Sunny, M0SYW, G3YLA.
5 fast, Jim. Maybe 5.5, maybe 6, maybe 6.5.
Well, nobody's looking over your shoulder checking, so good stuff. Really good. That's coming on. And Alan, G800.
Sorry, Jim, I was just looking down the list. I'm going to claim 8, Jim. I changed number 9 3 times. I had W/E, and then I put WXE, then I put it back to W/E. And the other one I got wrong was bloody first. I put, again, I'm getting problems with these dits. I put FSRST. Stupid bugger. But there we are. Back to you, Jim.
All the right letters, but not necessarily in the right order, or some of the right letters, possibly. Yeah,
well
good
done,
stuff.
Jim.
Okay, well, you're still in there. You're up at the front of the grid with everybody. John, are you going to go into pole position?
Well, I'm afraid so, yes.
Good man, excellent. All good revision here then. And John, JVPE.
Oh, I'll put the big pointy hat on and stand in the corner, I think. Only 4, Jim.
You see, only 4 would mean Roger's got to get the cooker on and start his hat simmering in the salted water. So that's good, excellent, really pleased. Right, okay. Well, what we'll do then, we'll load in the last set because I do want to get 4 done each week, and this is going to be done in exactly the same way. So have we got any tricky ones here? No, these are all letters. So you've got no scary numbers and punctuations. So G3YLA handing over to GB2CW. Here we go. Okay, that was the first pass through, so I'll just give you a chance to look at that, and then we'll go straight into the second one. This is G3YLA with a GB2CW slow morse. Right, okay. Well, we'll do it once more then, and that will get them all out of the way before the witching hour, and then we'll talk through and see how we did. So G3YLA handing over to GB2CW for some more. Same set, exactly the same, no figures, no punctuation marks, just letters. So here we go.
not
Okay.
syncing him.
So there we are. That's your second go through. I'll just give you a chance to dot the I's and cross the T's, and then we'll see how you got on. This is GB2CW, handing back to G3YLA. Right, so let's go through the list then. Brian, do you want to give me what the first one was?
Yeah, I think I've got them all, Jim. No nasty numbers there to jump out and bite me.
Yes, well, I thought we'd end on something a bit easier, perhaps. Yeah, good stuff, okay. Well, the first one was solar, S-O-L-A-R, solar. Second one, Paul? No, yeah, second one, Paul?
Well, I've got word, W-E-R-E.
Correct. Second one was the word were. Third one, please, Sonny.
A-R-R-L.
Good man. A-R-R-L indeed it was. And the fourth one, Alan?
Good luck.
Yeah, GL, the abbreviation for good luck. And the fifth one, John?
Worked all Britain.
Yeah, worked all Britain. Sometimes you'll be in a CW QSO, and it's not something which you tend to find crops up very often at the CW end of the band. I know they have big nets on the sideband sections, but you do sometimes get somebody saying, PSE, please, you are your WAB, question mark. So it's good to have that under your belt, WAB. So, John, JVPE, did you get any of the subsequent ones?
I think so. Also, let's try that one. And there was a chat and a report, I think, towards the end.
Nailed it. John, John, that's fantastic. I mean, Roger's going to have to get that cooker turned up, I think. Okay, well, rather, we've gone over the time, so I'll just read out the full list now. But that's really brilliant. Pleased to hear. So what I'll do is tell you what they all were. You can count up and then give me the score when we all sign out, which we'll do in a moment. So they were solar, S-O-L-A-R, then W-E-R-E were ARRL, the American Radio Relay League, their equivalent of the RSGB. GL for good luck. WAB for Worked All Britain. Also, the word also. Web was the next one, WEB. So sometimes in a QSO I've had people say you can find details of the location and the antennas on the web page, or else they'll send qrz.com, and I've heard about 50-50 of that, so web page might come up. Then we had shack, then we had chat after that, and then we had report, R-P-R-T, report. Now, be careful with this one, because there is another one very similar, which is RPT, without the second R in it, and that's basically repeat, please repeat, report. So RPT is repeat, RPRT is report. So there we are. That was the set of 10. So I'll now take the chance to sign out of the net. Thanks to the repeater for giving us time to play on here. And I'll take a listen round, and then when it's finished I'll talk to Thomas, M0TEO, see if he's got that problem. We can have a little think about how to address that. So thanks for coming on and keeping us company. We've got plenty of time now, haven't we, to do the practice. So go through the old files, practice all the letters so they're second nature, and practice the words that we've done. And I will very shortly, I'm getting a bit more time now, I will very shortly be able to have time to put all the MP3 files up, and we can give you a chance to do some practicing. So let's put it round firstly to Brian. To Thomas, M0TEO.
Yeah, good evening, Jim. Thanks once again for running this evening. I've been listening in, not having a brilliant evening, and I feel I'm getting more and more confused. So maybe once you finish with the group, we could have a quick chat. Back to you.
Yeah, okay, no problem at all. We'll definitely do that. All right. It does seem like that at the beginning, I have to say. It is quite overwhelming. Anyway, let's go round now to Brian, G4RYU, doing very nicely. Some good scores this week. G3YLA.
Yeah, G4RYU. Yes, thanks a lot, Jim. A good evening. I got all the last lot correct, so that's very pleasing, really. All right, good night to you, Jim, and thank you very much again. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem at all, Brian, and good to have you on board, and definitely good progress and practice. So the main thing is practice on the air. Just practice listening and practice some of these files on CW Player, a really great program for tinkering about with that. And Paul, you're coming along very nicely. G3VPT, G3YLA.
Yeah, 10 out of 10 that time, Jim. I have tried a little bit of listening, but everything I've found so far has been much too fast for me. But thanks for the evening anyway. Thank you. From G3VPT.
Yep, G3YLA. Oh, well, that's brilliant. Well, I'm sure you're going to find that won't always be the case. There will be a point when suddenly, the more you practice, the more you do, you will get bits of QSOs. And I know it'll all seem a bit too fast, but be very surprised if it's faster than the 25. What you will find is you're not getting the welcome gaps between the letters. So what we've got to do is close our gaps up so you're recognising complete words. But that's coming along really well, ever so pleased. Sunny, M0SYW, G3YLA.
Yeah, 7.5 on that last one there, Jim. So more practice required, and I'm still officially working, so no spare time for me. HIM's G3YLA from M0SYW in the group.
Yeah, I was being a bit inclusive there. Sorry, Sonny. Of course you are, and jolly good too. All right. Well. Press on where you can, and very good to see you making this sort of progress. It is good. Just keep doing it, and it will come. Nobody's going to say this will all be finished in 18 weeks, but it will become less of a mystery, and then we just spend the hard yards over the summer just really listening and practicing. We'll have to do some follow-up refresher sessions during the summer months.
Right, okay.
Alan,
I will
G3YLA.
let the net finish, and then I'll close the stream down.
Yeah, I got the whole lot of the last one, Jim. I even got the S's and R's and all the rest of it, so there we are. But there we are, Jim. I've got another probably 10 days, and then I can do some more practice. Back to you, Jim.
Yeah, good stuff. Okay, Alan. Well, that's good to hear. All practice, however little, is worthwhile. The more of it, the better. But that sounds like it's coming along very nicely, so that's always good to hear. And John, nice to hear you on. Really great to hear your signal. So hope you'll be joining us, but you sound like you're well across all this malarkey. G3XLL, G3YLA.
Yes, okay, Jim. Well, thank you very much for the evening. I've really enjoyed it, and I am a little bit out of practice, I have to say, so this was a nice opportunity for me to get on here this evening, and I really enjoyed it, so thank you very much indeed, and I shall certainly be joining you again from G3XLL, and good night to everybody else.
Yeah, okay, John, I take it, I've written 10 down here, I take it was a 10 from you?
Yes, it was.
Excellent, good. And John, how many are you going to give me this time? This is awesome stuff. I can't wait to tell Roger. VPE, G3YLA.
Right, okay then, Jim. Well, you better tell him to take it off out of the slow cooker and stick it in the oven at gas mark 4. Wait for it. 8, correct. And the other two were very near. Instead of web, I wrote WETS. I stuck a space in where it shouldn't have been. And I got SHA and a K. That was so close to a 10, Jim. I think we better put that on gas mark 5, I think. That hat, G8VPE.
Yeah, I think I'll even move it into the fan oven on the strength of that. John, that's fantastic. That is really, really good to hear. And super piece of work. You've obviously been doing a little bit. And all that stuff with the contest is going to sink in a bit. So just keep doing what you're doing. Whatever it is you're doing, is going to help in the long run. So I'll say well done, everyone. That was a really good session, and nice to have so many on. And hopefully you're going to get time to do some practicing. So go back and practice some of the original letters, get fluency with those, the figures, the punctuation. I'll be pressing on with doing the MP3 files, and soon we'll have those available for you to download and play at your leisure. But any programs will run these letters through to you. Just do them at the speed. We're trying to recognise them as musical phrases at 25 words a minute, so I want you to hear them as they sound at that speed, not very, very slow. So it's excellent, and look forward to next week. Got another set to come next week, so hopefully you can join us there. Thanks to the repeater, and I'll say 7-3 all, and I'll take a pause, and then I'll have a word with Thomas. So cheers, G3YLA now closing down GB2CW.
Right, I'll just turn the repeater off. So many thanks for watching. I don't know how long this video is going to stay up. I want some time to analyse how the audio's going, so it'll probably be up for a little while. Many thanks, and good